guys, Peter Obi has joined the protest as Tinubu plans to squeeze Nigerians through taxes. So we all know what is happening in this country now. It's all about taxes. But before we get into that, this is the moment Tinubu departed Nigeria for France. And he will also be going to the UK. You can see the leaders that came to escort him to the airport, those that accompanied him to the airport. Nigerians have been saying it's because these people don't have anything doing. Nigerians are not productive. The leaders are not productive. And they've resorted to taxing the people. Tax them, tax them, tax them. You can imagine a country where every time your leader is going out, you have all these governors and ministers and whatever, they will leave their state. Like you can see Hope Uzodinma is there. He left Imo State to come say farewell to Tinubu going to France and the UK. So guys, that tells you that these leaders are totally idle. And when they are idle, how do you expect them to think creatively on how to engage Nigerians to become productive? That is why we are not getting it. And they feel taxing the people is the only way to go. Peter Obi has joined this protest, but I tell you, it is even painful to see some of them. Look at the leaders waving bye-bye to Tinubu, even when his plane, his jet, or whatever it's called, when it has taken off. They were still there, waving. Can you see the level of idleness among the leaders in this country? And that is why none of them is sitting up on how Nigerians can be productive, how we can move this country from consumption to production. We've borrowed a lot under this Tinubu's government in 2 years. You know how much Nigeria has borrowed. And we don't know what those borrowed funds are being used for. They don't carry Nigerians along. Anyway, guys, Peter Obi has reacted to the Tinubu's proposed 5% tax on fuel sales that is to start in January. And like you can see here, it says Obi opposes Tinubu's 5% tax on fuel sales. Effective January, says Nigerians deserve to breathe. Businesses are folding. People are being sacked from their job. I mean, even people's salaries cannot cater for their needs and that of their families. But guess what? They've resorted to taxing Nigerians, asking Nigerians to be the ones to bring money. Did you even notice that? The wife of the president was asking Nigerians to give her money to build the National Library. So guys, these people are confused. I mean, they are confused. And it baffles me when I see some Nigerian youth saying they are going to vote for the APC, looking at their record and what they've achieved so far, that is close to zero. I'm just wondering if these Nigerian youths know what they are saying. Anyway, guys, let me allow you to take a look at this Peter Obi's video that is now seen as a protest against Tinubu's proposed tax. This video is not even a recent video, but guess what? It addressed the challenge Nigerians are going through today in the name of paying more taxes. Take your time, watch these videos and more that I have for you, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification. Now take a look.
Employment and robust your economy, the more you can earn from tax. You cannot tax unemployed people. If I cannot go to a village and tax people who are unemployed, you have 98 million people living under poverty before the COVID situation. Now you're going to have over 100 living under poverty. You're not going to tax them. If you want, it taxes like a bank account. If you want to withdraw more, you put in more. So if the government has done the right things, the more people you pull out of poverty, the more you can get out of tax. It's a simple thing. It's not a rocket science.
If you look at the manifesto of APC and Asiwaju, you will discover that every promise that he put in there, unless he can show that there is a plan to create production, generate Nigerians to everything is about borrowing. And they may end up borrowing your intestine, your kidney, and every part of your being for the things that they want to do.
No, this is not new. I made a point earlier on that since...
Vain, though. Reactions have continued to trail the 6-year sentencing of Nigerian-born Finnish citizen Simon Ekpa by a Finnish court for terrorism-related activities. The federal government, through the Minister of Information, had hailed the verdict as a major victory for the Nigerian police or for the Nigerian people in the collective fight against terror. Now, the Igbo social-cultural organization, Ohaneze Ndi Igbo, on Wednesday applauded the federal government for Ekpa's incarceration. In a statement by the deputy president of the group, the development underscores the Igbo people's resolute opposition to armed struggle under the guise of Biafra agitation. The group stated that they unequivocally condemn terrorism in all its forms and reject any deviation from non-violent self-determination principles, adding that the Igbo nation stands united for peace and constructive dialogue. I mean, this group have stated that, Ekpa's arrest will mitigate insecurity in the southeast. They commended the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, for their efforts in fighting terror in the region. The Finnish court found Ekpa guilty of using his social media to urge his followers to commit crimes. He was also found guilty of supplying groups with weapons and explosives while also promoting violence on the ground in Nigeria from where he was in Finland. I'd like to take some reactions to that comment from the Igbo social cultural group Ohaneze Ndigbo. This person, Naji, wrote on X that this is not a federal government of Nigeria case. It's between Finland and Simon Ekpa. No one needs to commend Nigeria government for it. I completely disagree with that tweet. Well, Araba described the deputy president as fraudulent. He wrote, "How can this fraudulent person claim to be speaking for the Ohaneze with no challenge? Which government or which federal government did that? Why did they allow the guy to wreak havoc in the southeast before going after him? Is it not shameful that this case concluded speedily," which is a huge conversation, while the other one in Nigeria moves like snail? Your thoughts on those comments? I mean,
okay.
What are your
So, terror has no place in society. And anybody that supports and condemns and condones terror, like Simon Ekpa did, I totally condemn them. Because I feel terror is not the solution to the problems of the Southeast. Are there cases of marginalization against the Southeast? Yes, like we always say, the Civil War never ended. Honestly, and it's true. Because after Gowon declared no victor, no vanquish, there's still a lot that needs to be done for the Southeast that has not been done. And we still see this clear marginalization. And it's this marginalization that makes people like Simon Ekpa have a voice in the first place. At some point, it was Ralph Wazirike, Nnamdi Kanu, all of them. The common thread is marginalization, which I think the government should fix. And that's why I said the first process in doing that is settling the Nnamdi Kanu case. And so that we start restoring sanity to the Southeast region, because if we restore it, then development will come. But I totally condemn everything Simon Ekpa did do at that point in time. But I think, and I disagree with that too, like you said, the federal government has to be commended, because the federal government did make overtures.
They
but
played a
Finland
major role
did
in
say,
that,
okay, yes, we are, we're a sovereign nation, we're going to deal with this. And IPOB also did go against, some, what's it called, Ekpa, a lot. And in fact, they did come out openly to pronounce that they're not in support of what he was doing. So that's settled. I think another case I would like to talk about is this. You see, the kind of democracy we run in Nigeria is a hypocritical democracy. It's a demonstration of grace. And Dr. Bali, you made a valid point that in the Constitution, yes, the police, the Nigerian police force, which says we all take instruction from the commander-in-chief, that only applies when the governor institute is not aligned with the federal government. We have also seen police in the states being used, and federal police in the state being used to be able to go against oppositions of governors in that same state. When they are doing it, the state governor is in charge. You know why? Because it's probably alignment with the central government then. But when it comes to cases of insecurity in the states, and is not probably aligned with the central government, then he starts to cry. Because that time, the central government will not give him all the support he gets. So I think also the case of the politicization of the central government in the case of insecurity is the big problem. Coming back to what Dauda was saying, and I think this is the thread with what Dauda was saying. When we hear about cases of banditry in Zamfara states, we don't see the big response by the federal government security forces there. But recently there was an election 5 polling units. You needed to see how they deployed brigades and brigades. In fact, they summoned up military forces from Gombe and neighboring states just to be able to oversee 5 polling units because the APC was involved in that election and they finally did win the election to prove a political point. Right. So another part in all of this conversation about state police is going to be the eventual politicization of the apparatchik of security in those states. And that's why Dada is saying that, yes, I should be able to sort this out. But the question is, we also know what is going on in these states. The politicization, because in one breath, you want to go ahead and flush the bandits.
Yeah.
The bandits are also valuable during election period.
What are the solutions?
Number one solution will be this.
Just 2 seconds.
Have a state police that is totally independent. And in fact, even having a state police is overflowed because there is almost no states. Most of the states in this country and most of the regions have some sort of architecture of state police. In the southeast, there's a Bubeagu.
Yeah, but their remits are limited.
Their remits are limited. No, the only difference is, what's it called? Amoteku carries weapons, but they don't carry high-grade weapons like your AK-47. But they do intelligence gathering work and they work with the police. There's Shege Kafasa, there's all of that. So that model you have been using, continue to use it.
So you prefer to have the vigilante groups and the federal structure that we already have in place? Is that what you prefer?
No.
Because you're talking about Ebubagu and all of those.
There are still state vigilante units that are different from the likes of Amoteku and Ebubagu.
No, I think that the state police, the idea of the state police is for them to have the full might and the full support to be able to govern their state. Some of these vigilantes, they go around with useless weapons. They don't have.
No.
Yes, we saw things that happen in. What is it? Agune chamber. Yes.
That's what we are saying.
So I mean, that's the conversation. Is that what you're saying?
No, listen.
What's your conversation?
Please take our time to hear me.
Yes,
out, please.
quickly.
You have those vigilante units that are spread across the country. In fact, there's a National Vigilante Association.
Yeah.
That's separate. Then you have things like Amoteku.
Yeah, we know that.
Amoteku, hope you know, is being led by a retired military officer, which they bring some structure and training into it. What I'm saying is those hitherto structures you have, amplify it, give them more oversight to be able to carry bigger weapons, and then go ahead and do the constitutional reform. But you must also put modalities and stopgaps in place that in a case where these people try to politicize and they become agents of the governor against their political adversaries, you will be able to step in. Because that's the grounds a lot of people have against the state police officer. But the structures are there. Governor Dauda has a cadet unit in Zamfara. The other day, we showed on TV when Benue launched their own. Almost everybody have their own.
All right.
But it's just out to... Lagos even has a neighborhood watch of some sort.
Okay.
We'll take another story now.
Let me just say, the leading, most visible authority on state police in Nigeria at the moment, there are other scholars on this subject, but the leading authority is Professor Kemi Rotimi of the Department of History, Obafemi Awolowo University. He has written a book, The Police in a Federal State, the Nigerian Experience. I hope we'll get an opportunity to engage with him at some point. His main conclusion is that state police is not new. We have had it before in this country, and it can work without necessarily being politicized.
Absolutely, well said. Shall we take another story now? From the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, in a horrific and tragic incident, a family of 3, a man, his wife, and their son, all died in a horrific car crash. The incident, according to eyewitnesses, occurred on Wednesday, September 3rd, at the Mabushi Bridge, after a group of hoodlums reportedly ambushed the family's car, accusing the driver of breaking traffic rules. The family car reportedly stopped by the bridge to pick someone up when a hoodlum forced his way into the vehicle and grabbed the steering wheel from the driver, which led to the car ramming into a pillar at the bridge. Well, here is the aftermath of the incident.
This is what Abuja caused here in Abuja. They are really causing a lot of harm. It's high time we do something in Abuja. Seriously. Both family died because of Aburo. Here is it though. Imagine. They chase this man, enter in a car, drag steering for in hand. The man died, his wife died, his son died. FCT minister needs to do something. Amak must leave Abuja.
Ayo, this was such a horrific scene that we saw. Yes, I don't know if you saw the videos that were trending, and there was some sort of jungle justice that occurred because those hoodlums, the residents in the area, pulled them and burnt them, set them ablaze, which is quite unfortunate because only yesterday we took the story of Amaye, this sort of jungle justice, and this is the conversation I want to have. Following that crash, like I said, residents in the area reportedly caught 3 of the suspected hoodlums and set them on fire. As of now, the police have yet to issue an official statement or provide further details on the tragic incident. Ayo.
All right, so let me start from the back end and work my way backwards, which is from the jungle justice as a result of these touts, these louts in Abuja. So we see that Lagos is not the only place where we have issues around people, you know, urchins on the street who constitute themselves as authorities to take taxis, unlawful taxis from, you know, commuters on the road. So what happens, and yesterday Dr. Bati said something when we had that talk about Amaye, that when you see jungle justice, it is a lack of distrust on the part of the people on the systems in place to address these things. And so when people feel that they are pushed to the wall and feel like they do not trust the system to do what it's supposed to do, they take matters into their own hands. As we've often seen, this is one case too many, where immediately we are going back to the days whereby tires were strewn around the necks of armed robbers, and in the same way because the police were not trusted enough to do their job, so they institute jungle justice, and we saw a swift reaction to these touts where one of them was burnt alive. And in some instances, some people would say, good for them, good for them.
Oh, yeah, you should have seen those
say, it's good for them because these people have terrorized the neighborhood, and the officials have not been able to contain their excesses. Last year, July 2024, the FCT authority had said they were going to, clamp down on these touts and their activities, motor park touts, and said they were going to arrest them, persecute them. 1 year later, they are still on the roads, they are still doing the same thing, and this has now led to the death of a family. It is ridiculous. And so when people feel that the authorities are not doing their job, it pushes people to behave like animals, to take matters into their own hands, and then to implement jungle justice. What we're calling for now is that I hope that this will be a lesson to the FCT, I'm hopeful, and that will actually end this menace of touts who collect illegal taxes from innocent commuters, whether it be in Abuja or Lagos, any part of Nigeria. It is illegal. It has to end. We need to see it come to a stop.
Well said. I mean, that family of 3, a young man, wife and family, may their soul rest in peace. We'll take another story. The medical community right now is in a state of mourning after Dr. Oluwafemi Rotifa, a young resident doctor, collapsed and died after working for 72 hours straight. Reports indicate that the doctor had been on call for 3 days straight, working in the emergency room. He then went to the call room to rest, but ended up passing away. In a post on X, the Port Harcourt University Medical Students Association said that it is with a heavy heart and profound sorrow that we announce the passing of our 35th president of the Port Harcourt University Medical Students Association, Dr. Rotifa Femi, who died while on duty. This is a great loss to the family, loved ones, and the medical students community as a whole. As we mourn, we demand for justice and accountability. Rest in peace, Dr. Rotifa Femi. He's a 35th president. Now, we're yet to see a statement from the Rivers State University Teaching Hospital where he worked. But Dr. Rotifa was also reportedly registered with the United Kingdom's General Medical Council and was waiting for a medical placement abroad. And I'll just take a reaction to this story, Dr. Bati, before I come to you. This person wrote, the painful loss of Dr. Oluwafemi Rotifa after a 72-hour call duty is more than a headline. It is a horror of what many of us have lived through. I remember during my house job, after working 32 hours non-stop, I checked my vitals and discovered my blood pressure was high. That moment opened my eyes to the hidden toll of exhaustion we carry as doctors. This tragedy reminds us that while we dedicate our lives to saving others, we also need systems that protect our own health and well-being. May Dr. Rotifa's soul rest in peace, and may his passing ignite urgent reforms to make humane working conditions a reality for every healthcare worker in Nigeria. Quick comment, Dr. Bati.
Okay, very quickly. We commiserate with the Rotifa family, with all the persons who worked with Dr. Rotifa, who knew him, his colleagues, his teachers, for whom, you know, and for all of us,
yes,
for whom this is a monumental loss. Now, doctors sign upon graduation what they call the Hippocratic Oath, as defined by Hippocrates. Now, there is nowhere in that oath that says that a doctor must die while trying to save others. It says that doctors have an obligation to save lives, whatever the circumstances. Now, this is a young doctor who was working for 72 hours. He is one of those patriots who have refused to succumb to the Japa syndrome. Now, we were in this country when one minister of labor said, oh, we have more than enough doctors. Whoever wants to Japa, whether to Saudi Arabia or Canada or the US or the UK, was free to go.
Yes.
But there are some patrons who remain here. And now we have a shortage of doctors. How can one individual work for 72 hours? The guy was overworked until death. And yet this is a time when medical doctors are protesting, resident doctors are going on strike, nurses and midwives are going on strike. They are not even well paid. They don't even get their salaries on time. And then they lose their lives in the process. Nigeria happened to Dr. Rotifa.
Absolutely right.
But the other point is that doctors too have an obligation to take care of their health and not become victims of overwork or sudden death. In saving other people's lives, their own lives are very important.
Absolutely. Well said, Dr. Abati. Thank you for that. May his soul rest in peace. Well, in a heart-wrenching plea, a young Nigerian girl, Mercy Oluwagbenga, is warning her peers against the dangers of irregular migration after being rescued from Libya. Mercy, who was received by the chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa, shared her harrowing ordeal. She said she was lured by a promise of a better life to care for her sick mother, but instead found herself in modern-day slavery. She worked for 1 year and 6 months without pay to settle a 2.5 million naira debt to her agent. Mercy tearfully recounted being maltreated and described how Nigerians in her situation are treated like animals.
So guys, you have seen it for yourself. This is the level of idleness among our leaders. You can see it for yourself. Now, Peter for Nigeria has taken his time to go to Ghana to ask them what is it that they are doing that Nigerians are not, that the Nigerian INEC is not doing. You know, it's all about criminality in display. Not because our electoral process or our electoral process cannot work, but because some people think they can use it as merchandise, you know. That is what you have seen, and that is why Nigeria has not been able to get it right when it comes to leaders. And you can see how complex these leaders are. Nobody is talking about electoral reform because they know the rigging will work. Nigerians, it's time to sit up and start demanding for electoral reform, because if you do it late, their response is going to be that the bill came late. But if you start pressing now that we still have close to 2 years, I think nobody can be telling us that it's too late to pass the bill for electoral reforms. Because guess what? Why Tinubu easily jetted out for the UK is because he knows that Nigerians are not going to hold him accountable. And that is why they get away with all kinds of things. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification. Thank you.